Hello guys, welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. There is a message that I want to share with you guys, and this message was sent to me by one of our admins, and the message reads like this. Hello brother Nashi, how are you? Can you please post for me? Post my story as anonymous. I have my own dark secret that I want to share with you, and this secret of mine, I don't know how I have managed to keep it from everyone else. Everyone in my family, they do not even know about this secret that I am about to share with you. There are only a few people that knows about this secret that I am about to tell you. And the few of those people that know about this secret that I want to share with you, they are also involved in the same religion that we are in, the religion of worshiping the king of this world, he who rules this world. So my brother, I had never thought that this was going to be the life that I was going to live. But I guess that maybe it was because of destiny. Destiny had chosen this kind of a life for me. So soon after me completing my matric, I then went to university. Now, when I was in university, that was when I became friends with this other guy. This guy that I became friends with, you can never understand what he is all about, because he sleeps with men and he sleeps with women as well. Yet he is a dude. He was quite a cool guy when we were still in university. And when I became friends with him, I thought that maybe this guy, he just wanted to be a friend of mine because he wanted to make fun of me. Because this guy, you could clearly see that from where he comes from, they have a lot of money. You know, there is that kind of money whereby you do not go around telling people that you are loaded with money, but people can just see that this one is loaded with money. That friend of mine, his parents were wealthy, so I became friends with him. He would do whatever that I would ask from him, and all of these years that I have been friends with him, he had never attempted to sleep with me, even though I have known that he has slept with a lot of men, married men as well. But to me, he said that he can never do that because he respects me a lot. And one thing about this guy, Brother Nashi, when he is sleeping with another fellow man, it is not because he do it out of love, but he does it as a sign of disrespect. My parents, they were not rich people. My mom was a nurse and my father was a policeman. They were just struggling to take us all to university so that we can have a better life. And when I met this friend of mine, indeed, I then started living a very better, comfortable life, even though my university life was kept as a secret for my parents. My parents, they will send me money, but whenever they would send me the money, I'll make sure that I'll never touch it. I'll just keep it in the bank account. Then later on, after my mom had linked her bank account to my bank account, what I'll do is that whenever she will send me money, I will then quickly transfer the money into another account so that she can think that I have used the money. But later on, I will then send back the money to my mom, and I would lie to my mom that I was doing, some regular jobs like working at different restaurants just for a few hours. But it was just a lie. It was not the truth. Me and my friend, we were so close. He used to give me all the money, and the money that he was giving to me, it was more than enough to take care of myself when I was in university. So whenever you would give me the money, then I'll send the money back to my parents. And my parents, whenever I would send them this money, they would just think that I was a child, one who was very responsible. But what they didn't know is that all the money that I was getting from my friend, it was quite a lot. Then as our friendship developed even further, since I was someone who was very streetwise, and this friend of mine all that he had was money, but he was not streetwise. I then discovered that this was also the primary reason as to why he had chosen me to become his best friend, because I was very streetwise. So when our friendship grew, that was when one day he told me that he wanted to experiment on some drugs. I said that it was okay. I then knew a couple of people in town, and I told him that there were places where we could get those drugs. So he would drive me to those places, then he would buy those drugs. But I swear to you, Brother Nashi, even though he used to give a lot of men that he used to date all of those drugs that he would buy, I have never seen him actually using them. I don't know why he does this to all of these men that he will be dating. Maybe it is a sort of mind controlling thing. Then the more that he got to trust me, he then started taking me to different places, different houses, and each and every place that we used to go to, I noticed that on the walls there was always this picture frame, and this picture frame, it was in form of an picture, but this picture, the canvas, it was just blank, like the person who had painted that canvas had just left that canvas to be just black. It was just blank and black in color. So I then noticed that at each and every house that he used to take me to, there was always that picture that will be hanging on the walls. And what I didn't know is that when I was being taken through all of those houses, I was being initiated into becoming one of their members. Each and every time when we will go to a different house, we were made to enter that house through the back door. Then when we are coming out, we will then enter out of the front door. It was only after the rituals had been performed on me that was when I got to discover that all of this, it was a form of spiritual training that was being done on me. And finally, when he thought that I was ready to be taken to the next level, that was when he told me that we had to travel. And we had to travel to the Western Cape, and because there was this other party that he had been invited to, he said that since I was one of his best friend and we were good buddies, so he had decided to take me with some of his very few close friends, and he was willing to take me there to Western Cape. I was really excited because this was like my first time to go there. So me and him, we went, but along the way, we then picked up this other couple. And this couple, by the way, Brother Nashi, they were an Afrikaner-speaking couple. They were both whites, but they were still young. So I could not get that connection, like how these people were even related to my friend. You know, it was just that thing whereby there was this weird vibe between them, because we were like black and they were like white, but it seemed as if they had a deeper connection and a deeper relationship. Anyway, I decided to mind my own business. We then traveled until we were in Western Cape, and mind you, along the way we ate nothing and we drank nothing. I was then told that now that we had arrived at the party, he was going to leave me in the hands of these other people that were the owners of the place. From the moment that he then left me in the hands of those people, they started treating me as if I was a slave. I was then told that I had to go into this other room, so I then climbed upstairs, and it was during the night. And as I was going upstairs, I then noticed that all the lights upstairs, they had been switched off, as if the electricity that was upstairs had been cut off. I tried switching on the lights as I was upstairs because I was always afraid of the dark, but none of the lights were working. Then there was a man who opened the door, and from the look of things, it seemed as if that was the only room that had electricity, but it was not electricity from the grid. It's like they were using solar power. in that room. I then walked over to that room that was opened out of fear, and when I got into that bedroom, I then began to understand the full extent of the situation. When I entered into that bedroom, I then saw that there was a man that was waiting for me. This man that was waiting for me, he was an Indian man, and he was dressed up as if he was a high priest. He then started speaking with me in a language that even today I am still struggling to understand. But my greatest fear is that I have noticed that even though I am not a regular church attendee, but my wife sometimes, when she speaks in tongues, she then speaks with that same language that I had this same Indian man who was dressed up like he was a priest. So it confuses me a lot, because even a lot of pastors, they use that kind of language, and the same sound that was being produced by that Indian man dressed up like a priest, it is that same sound that comes out whenever people are speaking in these same tongues. So, Brother Nashi, I think that people just need to be careful. Otherwise, you end up speaking in a language that you won't even understand. When I was at that party, then that high priest then started to tell me that there were some prayers that he wanted us to perform, and he was going to guide me through those prayers, since I was nothing but a little child that did not understand anything. So he then gave me a small book, but when he gave me this small book, he then told me that I had to open it up. But the funny part about this book, they are like things that they show us in the movies, and to you think that the technology that is being shown in the movies, it is going to be here in something like 200 years or so. But what we do not understand is that maybe the technology is already out there being used by a few people, because that is what happened. As I opened that small book, I saw that the words, they were no longer written on the pages of that book, but I immediately saw the words in front of me. Like this book, Brother Nashi, it had a means of transporting those words from the pages of that book and transporting them into the air. So the words came out of the book, and I could read those words in front of me. And as I will be reading the words, then the book was scrolling through its own pages. That is the best way that I can explain everything that was happening. After that man had taken me through the book, that was when he told me that I was now accepted into their society. He then asked me if I was able to keep this oath as long as I will be alive, and I said yes, I can do that. He then told me that this religion that I had joined, there was no one who was supposed to know what kind of a religion it was, and whenever we will be speaking about our religion, we do not say the name of that person that we do worship. So I was then given an instruction that I was not allowed to tell the woman that I was going to get married to, even my children and my family. I was not allowed to tell anyone about this religion and that person that we worship. So the way that I completed all of these rituals, Brother Nash, is that the very same night after we had said that prayer, I was then taken back into the living room, where I saw that there was different designs like on the walls. It was like when I had climbed upstairs, there were a lot of painters that had entered into that room and painted the walls. And the way that they had painted the walls, there were a lot of hideous, scary beasts that had been painted all over the walls. And those beasts that had been painted all over the walls, they were very demonic, as if these beasts, they were busy devouring the flesh of human beings. And I saw that in this room that I was now in, there was a lot of orgies that were taking place. Everyone was just sleeping with each other, but everyone was just dressed up in their red robes, but underneath their red garments they had nothing, and I was dressed in a white garment. I was then told that the reason why I was dressed up in a white garment, it was because it represented my purity, and this was the sole purpose of me being brought to this party so as to destroy that purity. My soul was still pure and they wanted to darken my soul. So a lot of women then started approaching me and they started sleeping with me because they wanted to take my purity. I was then told that from now on, after we had done that orgy, I was never supposed to take care of my spiritual men, like praying to God or reading anything that can make my spiritual men to become very strong. But I had to take care of my physical men, like if I felt like today I want to do such an evil act, I had to do it, and by doing so I'll be strengthening my physical men. That was the purpose of me being taken to the Western Cape. Those women that were there, Brother Nashi, they were not even ashamed. Actually, they were very happy that they had been given that opportunity to darken my soul by sleeping with me. So in this religion, Brother Nashi, the robe that you wear, it represents the stage you are at when you are climbing this spiritual ladder in our religion. To someone that is not involved in this religion, this can become a quite confusing thing, that why do you need to starve the spiritual man so that your physical being can become much stronger? But if you follow the doctrine of our religion, which we say that it is true Christianity, then you can start to understand why you need to starve the spiritual men and to feed the physical men. So, Brother Nashi, after I had been initiated into this religion, I then graduated from university. But soon after graduating from university, I had already gotten a job, because a lot of people that have business opportunities, they are in the same religion. That is how I entered into the business space, because a lot of business opportunities then started coming to me. That is how I have been living. I then got married, and in this religion, it is not like I can just tell my wife what exactly I do, because the whole purpose of this religion is that you need to lie so that we can further the purpose of our religion. My wife, she does not know, and my wife, she is someone who really loves God. There are many instances whereby me and my wife, we sit down together for the Bible study, but I even pretend as if everything that she is doing it in a perfect way. Even if she were to follow a false doctrine, I would even encourage her further, so that in the end, when it will be time for her to come on the other side, she can realize that she had been lied to. Because in my case, my wife, they told me that a time for her to find out that there is another side to religion that is much better than Christianity, a time has not yet arrived. But when the time comes, she is going to go through that same process that I went through, so that she can join us on the other side and experience what they say is true Christianity according to our doctrine. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our admins. It comes from an email that we received. Our dear listener was saying that ours is the true Christianity according to their doctrine. Strange things do happen in this world.